Hey guys, so this week we're going to start our Crucible essay, and you're also going to do some ACT prep. Okay, so remember your essay, you're going to argue. So in Act 4, right, when Reverend Hale is trying to convince Elizabeth to, save John, get him to confess, he says that no principle, however glorious, is worth dying for. I'm paraphrasing. And that life is God's greatest gift. And so it's better to lie to protect your life than to die, right, for this principle of belief. So you're going to either defend or refute Hale's statement. Okay, so you're going to pick a side. Is it better to die for a principle of belief, or is it better to lie to save a life? Okay, and you're only using what happened in the crucible as your evidence. Okay, so don't talk about the army. Like, that's like the number one thing students want to talk about, like the army and people willing to sacrifice and all that, which is amazing and awesome. And I'm not in any way like lessening that, but I just want you to use what happened in the crucible as your evidence. Okay, so it's an argumentative essay. It's 2 to 3 pages. You cannot use I, you, we, our, any of those first, second person things. So it all should be done from a more academic standpoint. So you don't need to say, I think that it's better to die for a principle belief. You can just say it's better to die for a principle belief, right? And there's your thesis statement, and that's totally fine. So I thought we would just do a quick, I need to switch, there we go, a quick reminder kind of about MLA, because it's been a hot minute. Okay, so remember, when we get into our Google Doc, right, if we change all these settings first, then we don't even have to worry about it. So our font is going to be Times New Roman. Our size is 12, okay? And then if we go here, that's our spacing. We go to double space, okay? So bam, you change those. Now you don't have to kind of mess with anything again, right? That took all of 3 seconds, okay? So remember, you're going to type your name, right? And then you're going to type the teacher's name. So I get to be twice. And then the class. And remember, I like English 11 better than like what period you're in. And then you do the date. And remember, the day is day, month all spelled out, year. Okay, and this is your heading. And then MLA requires that you have a title. So remember, for our title, we're going to, why do I not, okay, sorry, it's just a little different. So our title goes in the middle. You are not writing the Crucible, so your title should not be the Crucible, but you can do, whatever kind of title that you want it to be, centered. We go back to left aligned, and then we indent when we start writing, okay? And our intro paragraph, so that's what's going to be due this week, is you have your intro paragraph, right? We always start with a hook. So a hook, good hooks are either questions, quotes, or facts, right? Those are our 3 most common hooks. So I think it would be easy to do a quote, right? Because you're actually, your paper is using the Crucible. So finding a quote from the Crucible, and that could easily be your hook. But anything you want to do is totally fine, right? So our intro paragraph, we have a hook, then we have background information, So kind of set up what's happening in the play. Why do people have to make the decision if they're gonna lie to save a life or if they're gonna die for a principal belief, right? And then you have your thesis, okay? And your thesis is one sentence, okay? And it should be debatable. So, and that's gonna be your side of the issue, right? It's better to die for a principal belief. It's better to lie to save a life. Literally that easy. Like that's your thesis. That's great. Okay. So you have your hook, you have some background information, you have your thesis, and there's your intro paragraph. So the last thing we need to do is we want to do a page number. Okay. You want it to be in the right hand corner, and then you'll type your last name. So for some reason, it does go back to like the default settings, but you just need to change it really quick. And then our MLA is great. Our intro paragraph's awesome, and life is good. Okay, so in Canvas, I'll put an outline so that you can see kind of what's expected within the essay. You don't have to fill out the outline. I'm not going to make you turn it in, but it is a good tool and a good way to make sure that you have all the important keys for your essay. Okay, so we're only going to focus on the intro paragraph this week because for the other half of the week, I want you doing some ACT prep. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have used Schmoop in the past. Maybe some of you have, some of you haven't. It's also a good resource for like summaries of text or explaining some stuff, but they do, the state pays for you to have like the resource to use it. So normally it costs like money, but the state pays so that you can have this resource. Okay, so in the assignment, I'm going to give you this link, and then you're going to use it. And I'm just going to do this so it's not under me. Okay, so when you get to it, it wants to log in with your Google account. So, and mine has a pop-up thing, so make sure that you change your pop-up blocker, and then you can do it again. Okay, so you're going to sign in. I'm going to sign in with Axon's thing so you can see from a student account. I just have to look. And she gave me permission, enter password somewhere. Okay. There we go. Okay, so you're just going to sign in with your Google account, okay? And as long you need to sign in with your school Google account, because then that is what will give you access to these things. Did I not already? Okay, maybe you'll have to do that. Okay, so maybe allow cookies if you need to get in. Ha ha ha. Okay, so once you log in, it'll go to your home page. I'm not making you join my classroom. That you don't need to do it. But the biggest thing is ACT prep. Okay, so you're going to click that test prep ACT, and it will take you into their ACT prep. Okay, and this works for all subjects. So if you need help with math, science, anything like that, this will help you do it. Okay, so they have little diagnostic tests that are like short examples, like they're only like 12 minutes. So you could take the diagnostic tests and see kind of where you are. But they also do drills, which is cool. So you can see, okay, where, because it'll break it down by what skill you're missing questions in. And then you can go to specific, okay, I kept doing this, I'm going to do this, and then I can do drills, right? And they also have full practice exams. And the cool thing about the practice exams, and sometimes people are like, how do I get a good score? Like, honestly, taking more tests is going to help you, even though that sounds like the worst thing ever. But it does help you. And then when you take the test, I wonder if I can just, it'll let me do it with unanswered questions. Okay, so it'll time, right? So the English section, you have 45 minutes for 75 questions. Okay, so just want to see if it'll let me. Okay, yes. Okay, so take the whole test, but I just want to show you what happens after you do it. Okay, so, I happen to have guessed right. But so then that won't kind of, so it'll say like these are the skills. Okay, so with all the questions, this is how much. Okay, so the most was kind of production of writing, knowledge of language, usage. So you can kind of see standard conventions, but for each one, and it's kind of not, I was hoping that I should have read it so I could have got it wrong. But it'll say, so you can, it'll show you why the answer is correct. Okay, so I happen to have guessed the right one, but if it was wrong, it would say that whatever you did was wrong, and then it'll show you why the answer's right. Okay, so it'll say why the other ones are wrong, and so that's what I find has been really helpful for students. So if you actually go through the test, right, if you take the time to go through and look at what questions are you getting right, what questions are you getting wrong, and look at the actual breakdown, and they'll explain why, and that has helped students a lot. And I know it's like the last thing you want to do if you take this test is now go through the test and look at all the questions, but it's a really good kind of tool in order to do it. Okay, so my hope for you and what I'm going to do, and it's just going to be honor system because I'm not making you join the classroom, so I have to review it. But I want you to take the full English test. Okay, so you're going to take the full English test, and then go through the questions that you got right. And then after you do that, there'll be a little quiz that just you're telling me that you did it, and then I'll just give you points for doing that. But I want you to use this as much as you want for, from now until the ACT. So right now it's 11 days. So on Monday it'll be 8 days because we'll take it the Tuesday after that. Okay. So again, you can just look at specific topics. They have videos that explain things where you can do, so if there's anything you kind of don't understand, you can change it from not English to science, to reading, to math. So whichever kind of topic that you are struggling with, feel free to kind of do. Okay. So that is going to be the two things that we're working on this week. Okay. So you're going to start writing your essay, which is just the intro paragraph. Okay. So mainly I'm going to look in the intro paragraph, is your MLA format correct? Okay. And do you have a hook? Do you have background information? And do you have your thesis, right? And your thesis should always be the last sentence in your intro. And so your thesis is going to tell me what side did you pick? Are you going to argue towards lie to save a life or die for a principal belief? Okay, so I should know right from the get-go what side that you're going on. Okay, and I'm happy to help with anything. If you have questions about the ACT, we can go over those. If you have questions about your writing, come ask me, right? I'm here. I'm happy to help. So hopefully this will be a good week. preparing you for the ACT and starting your essay.